4 amazing habits that you need to include in your learning schedule, in your daily life, in your lifestyle so that you can improve your English. 4 amazing habits. Hello everybody, how are you all? Hope you're doing great. So welcome back to another session of learning English and improving your English speaking skills with me. Today's lesson is dedicated to habits. Good, amazing habits that you need to build so that you can improve English. Now, habits are essential part of life. They help you master any skill. And English is a skill. It's just not a subject, it's a skill because you have to speak, you have to communicate. And that's a skill that you need to master. And today, I'm going to tell you 4 habits. 4 amazing habits to improve your English, to master English. So are you all ready for this? I'm Shivangi Gupta, your CELTA certified English language tutor, certified by the University of Cambridge, the UK. And before beginning, please subscribe the channel so that you do not miss out on any lesson that I post for you on the channel. Please like the video and share it with your friends too. Now, coming back to today's lesson, let's get started with all the 4 habits. These habits are something that you can take up, you have to develop. I'm not saying that you have to do it daily, every day, no. But these must be your habit, that from time to time, you include these 4 habits in your learning routine, that they become a part of your learning routine. It's not like you have to make a schedule for them, you have to give separate time, no. It's not at all like that. What you are supposed to do is you have to include it in your lifestyle. So basically, these are habits. These are not tasks that I'm giving you, that you have to do this, you have to do that. No, these are habits that you need to build. Habits are easy to follow if you have the right direction and if you're building them in a great manner. So these 4 habits that I'm going to tell you are easy to build. What all you require is something that you already have. Whatever you have with you in English, you have to build these habits with that particular knowledge, the things you're learning, the tasks that I've given you. You have to do that and build these habits that I'm telling you today. So let's begin with all the 4 habits then. Habit number 1, the most important habit to master English is set specific goals. Setting specific learning goals from time to time is important. Now, I'm not saying that if you are short on time, you set specific daily goals. What you can do is you can set specific weekly goals, you can set specific monthly goals. But setting those goals, that's important. A lot of times, what people do is they don't have any particular goal, they don't have schedule, they don't have anything specific what they are going to master, which area of English they are going to learn. They do things randomly, totally randomly, that one day let's read, let's learn vocabulary, let's do this, without any track, without any specific tasks to improve a particular area of English. Now this is very hazardous. Why? Because you're making so many efforts, you're doing so much, but still at the end you will find that results are not so satisfying. Results are not as much as the efforts you've put in. So for that you need to set specific goals. Now these goals can be tasks, these goals can be specific areas of English that you want to improve, or these specific goals can be challenges that you're taking up. For example, recently I've launched 30 days English challenge. That's kind of specific goals I'm giving you. The tasks that I'm giving you, they are specific, they have time foundation, they have a limitation, a deadline. So that is what is specific I'm saying in terms of specific, that these goals are specific. What you're supposed to do, that's covered. How you're supposed to do it, that's also covered. What is the deadline? That this is the deadline, you must do this task till this particular time period. You have to complete it in this particular time period. That is also covered. That means it's a specific task for you, specific goal. So I am setting a specific goal for you. what you can do is you can take up the challenge that's easy for you. Once you take up the challenge, you will learn how to set goals for yourself too, based on the need, based on which area you need to improve. So go take up either 30 days challenge or you can take up the 6-week challenge. These two challenges are there for you. Go take these challenges up and set specific goals to learn English. Habit number 2. The habit number 2 is to revise the vocabulary that you are learning. Revising that vocabulary from time to time is very important. So yes, you have to revise the vocabulary that you are learning. What we do is, we learn words. There are these words. We compile more words on it, then more words on top of it, more words, more words. When you learn these particular words, for example, you've learned 5 words. Okay, for example, you have learned cherished, you have learned the word rosy, you have learned other words, you have learned famished. These are the words you've learned. And then you're learning new words, you're learning another set of 10 words. You will forget what you've learned earlier, and you will not be able to use it when you speak English. So it's there somewhere with you, but you're not able to use it. You've learned it, still you've lost it. Why is this happening? Because you have learned the word, but you have not revised it. You forget to revise. When you don't revise, you don't keep it with yourself. That is, you have not practiced the word enough. Now there is a saying, practice makes a man perfect. Practice makes a woman perfect, right? So practice makes you perfect, and practice is what we need, but we forget to revise that vocabulary we have learned already, and we try to learn new words. I'm not saying that you have to stop learning new words, no, but make this your habit that you go back, revise the words that you've learned from time to time. It's gonna hardly take you 5 minutes. If you're revising those words from time to time that you've learned, this will help you build a stronger vocabulary. Why? Because all the words that you're learning, you'll be able to use them. And if you're able to use them, if you're able to use the 80% of vocabulary you're learning, you're retaining it and you're able to use it, that's a huge improvement in vocabulary, believe me, and in your speaking skills too. Your speaking skills will elevate because you have so many words to use. You have variety of words to use. That's why it's important to revise vocabulary from time to time. Habit number 3. Habit number 3 is to practice thinking in English. Thinking in English. Now, thinking in English is very important. Something that everybody wants to master. Because thinking in English makes the process of speaking English spontaneous. It brings spontaneity in your speaking. So you are spontaneous. Why? Because you have this ability to think in English. Now this ability, if you want to develop this ability, you have to practice it. I have so many practice lessons for you already on thinking in English, how to think in English, practice lesson on think and speak in English. There are so many lessons on think and speak in English. So this particular task, you have to dedicate time to it. You have to dedicate the time to it as you dedicate to other tasks, to listening, to reading, to everything. So sit and practice thinking in English. There are so many various techniques I've told you about. Take one up at a single time and practice it, because you are training your brain. You're training your subconscious mind to become spontaneous. That is when you have the opportunity to speak in English next time, in the real life scenario, in the real life situation, you're able to speak it. The thought process becomes easy. For example, you want to say something in your native language, it's so smooth. Same thing will happen when you speak English, thinking in English. In reality, are you really thinking in English? No. In reality, I'm not thinking about the words that I'm speaking. Thinking in English means that the words, things that you want to speak, emotions, it can be object, it can be anything. So the vocabulary related to that, English language related to that particular thing is already in your mind. Your subconscious mind is trained enough to produce thoughts related to that particular thing on just a click of your fingers. That is what I call spontaneousness, spontaneity. So this spontaneity is developed once you start practice thinking in English. So when you practice it, you will be able to develop this particular process that you don't have to think much about those thoughts. That is actually thinking in English. Means you're not translating anything, you're not putting pressure on your mind, it's there in your head. Just have to produce it from the back of your mind, from your subconscious mind. You're just retrieving it so smoothly. That is what we want to achieve while speaking in English. And if you practice thinking in English, you'll be able to achieve it. So make this your habit. From time to time, include thinking in English. Thinking in English practice as a part of your English learning routine. Habit number 4. The last habit for this lesson, for this session, is to speak out loud. That is your speaking practice. Speak out loud. That is very important. So whenever you're taking up any particular technique, you have to speak out loud. A lot of times what people do is when they are doing their speaking practice, they speak very slowly. They speak in a manner that they're not audible to other members of their family, maybe anybody else there in the room, and something like that. Do not be self-conscious. Speak out everything loudly. You need to project your voice, and for that you have to speak out loud. So make this your habit that from time to time you practice English speaking and you're speaking out loud. You can speak out loud anything. I'm not saying that you have to take up a certain technique. Well, you have this particular video of mine where I'm telling you about 12 techniques to practice English speaking. 12 techniques, different professional techniques. So these techniques are something that you must take up. They are a combination of certain scientific research techniques that I have also developed, some of my developed techniques in this lesson. So what you are supposed to do is you are supposed to take these techniques up. Now, speaking out loud from time to time, this habit is very important, because if you're taking something as simple as talking about your day, maybe self-talk, maybe just describing your day, something like that, you can do it anytime. This is something that won't require much of your time, much of your preparation, much of the thought process, something that you can practice when you're short on time. So these kind of particular practices you need to adopt in your habit, usual habit, daily habit, that apart from these speaking practice exercises that I'm doing, I should speak out loud if I'm getting some time, some me time, and I should take up these simple techniques to practice speaking out loud in English so that it develops your fluency and your confidence. Speaking out is important. Speaking is important because it's all about speaking. If you won't speak, how are you going to develop this particular skill of yours? So it is important. That is the habit number 4. Practice speaking out loud. Do not skip on your speaking practice, English speaking practice. So that's it. These are the 4 amazing habits that you need to include in your learning schedule, in your daily life, in your lifestyle, so that you can improve your English. 4 amazing habits to improve your English, to master English language and become absolutely fluent in English speaking. Include these 4 habits in your daily life, in your lifestyle, in your schedule, and see the difference for yourself. That's it for today. That is it. Now I'm gonna meet you again in a new lesson. Till then, everybody, take care and bye.